Hey, hi everybody. So we just finished our warm-up exercise. You had the last 20 minutes to do your color scales, and now we're ready to part 2 of day 1, learning how to use watercolor. FYI, the wash you did, this is called a wash, is going to be on the quiz. You're going to need to know that this is called a wash and that you made a value scale. All right. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how to start doing your night sky image. Here's the image I picked. I really loved the oranges and the blues. That's sort of the colors I always gravitate towards when I'm painting. So what I'm going to do is notice the lightest part of this, and that is this white in the middle that leads to this orange. So I'm going to kind of start with that. You're not going to start with the blacks or the dark blues. You are going to start with the lightest colors. So what's interesting in nature, maybe you guys are going to be more aware of it, but I feel like complementary colors come up in nature all the time, and definitely in sunsets. So like oranges and blues. But what you have to keep in mind is that in art making, orange and blue mixed together makes brown. So you're gonna have to be careful with how you layer your colors. So this is how you're gonna get started. You already learned about your, amount of water that's necessary for mixing. And you also learned about wiping your palette off. So you have a cup of water, and you guys have paper towels, and you have sponges. I actually prefer if you wipe it off with a sponge because it's less wasteful. So you clean your palette so it's nice and clean, and then you wipe it off. Okay, and you can reuse both of these. Just put them aside. You can totally reuse the paper towel for cleaning up. Put it right there. All right, so you should have your image in front of you, and I'm gonna have you take a wash brush. So that's one of these bigger brushes, and there's gonna be some even bigger ones available, and you're gonna literally wet your page. Oh, I hope you wrote your name on the back. Mrs. Carroll didn't, so I'm gonna do that right now. You should definitely write your name on the back. Okay, and then your section. So I'm going to wet my paper, and we're gonna do some wet on wet techniques. So literally wetting the paper and applying wet material, wet paint. So I have a nice wet paper now, and what I'm gonna do is make this first color, which is like a yellowy orange. So I'm mixing yellow and I'm mixing orange together, and I'm going to apply it where I see it. Now, FYI, watercolor paint dries about 20% lighter. Also, this is watercolor paper. Don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to add water, basically. Now I'm going all the way down to the bottom, even though we're going to be making a silhouette. And now I'm going to intensify the color just a little bit. And I'm not going to be afraid to like lift it up and let it move. And again, you're going to have towels here, so you can keep your area kind of clean as it's going to drip. I need to figure out a system. I haven't figured it out yet without spending a lot of money, but I feel like at my house I have like a watercolor board that I staple it to, and I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do with you guys yet. I have some ideas, so we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more orange to really intensify this orange, and then a little bit of red up in here. So what is happening now is I am letting the colors blend together and bleed together. This is called blossoming. So it's kind of where the color blends and leads into another color. Now you might be like, what is going on? This doesn't look like the night sky. It takes layers, lots of layers. I actually see some brown happening in the work, and I'm sort of thinking that I'm not gonna like add that brown just yet. I might like do that when I start to add the blue and let it kind of naturally make brown just a little bit. So I'm adding a little bit more yellow to intensify this color. Okay. So now the next thing is I see that there's like a greenish color. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this like turquoise. Now look, my water is orange, right? Probably it would be a good idea to switch my water. If I'm changing to a cool color, I would probably want to use a different water. This is bubbling here, so we're gonna have to like figure out how to fix that. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna like wipe up my red for now, and I'm gonna make like a turquoisey, which is a blue-green. I'm gonna actually go ahead and add some green to it, but not the yellow green, this darker green, which is more of a turquoisey green. And I'm gonna like add to the side here. I think I have an idea, you guys, if I can get them. The thrift store has like old pans, like metal pans. So I'm gonna see how much I can, That's okay. So actually what just happened here was I lifted it up and it all bled together. But for your first wash, that's all right. So we're gonna just keep going with it. No, I'm not starting over, and no, you wouldn't be starting over either. So anyway, what I might do is see if I can get some of those like metal, like cookie pans. If you guys have any cookie pans, bring them in. We could use them, like old ones. All right, so I'm just adding my blues, and then I'm gonna go back in and add some more yellow. And I need some more green. I'm making a nice green to kind of achieve that greenish tone. Don't worry about the stars. We're gonna do that when it dries with the toothbrush and white paint. All right, so this is probably gonna take you one whole class really to just get this first wash done, because you do have to create so many layers. And notice how my brush is just kind of moving all around, moving all around. And it's not gonna look exact. You're just using this for inspiration. I mean, this is a photograph right here, and this is a painting, so it's not gonna be exact. You're just kind of using it for inspiration and going from there. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is see if I can brighten up that orange again. I would probably wanna change my water, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna keep going. Now, if a color bleeds that you don't like, you can like lift it up with your sponge. Just make sure your sponge is kind of clean. And then you can kind of lift it up. And then if little sponge pieces fall off, just, remove them. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is try and intensify that orange again, since we like lost it. And bring it back. Sometimes a little bit of drying is necessary anyway. And I'm gonna just kind of dab while it's still wet, some bright orange, right sort of at the base. And maybe I will add some brown now.